Welcome to Q Up. I'm at the Daybreak facility in Spokane with Executive Director Tim Smith. And it is one of the best kept secrets in Spokane, but not for long. Tim, I'm so glad to have a chance to understand what Daybreak does and let the people in Spokane know that you exist. So let's go for the history of Daybreak. How long has it been here? And I understand too, this is just one of 4 facilities we're going to be touring today.
Great, thanks Brenda. Daybreak is a nonprofit organization who's exclusively devoted to serving providing alcohol and drug treatment services to teenagers. We were started back in the 1970s by a group of wonderful people from the Presbyterian Church up at Whitworth, and they formed a nonprofit organization specifically to serve troubled teenagers. So that's all we do. We've served 10,000 or more kids in the last 25 years, and we have inpatient, outpatient, and crisis residential services here in Spokane. We do programs in the schools, we do programs at the hospitals, and we, a few years ago, opened up another program regionally over in Vancouver, Washington.
And I understand as part of the United Way group of agencies, folks can contribute specifically to Daybreak by going through their United Way plan, if that's what they have at their company.
Correct, and the United Way is a wonderful organization. We're happy to be a part of it.
But at the same time, that's not where all your funding comes from. So you briefly maybe describe what your needs are.
We serve all kinds of kids from all kinds of situations, so our basic commitment is that we will not let money get in the way of treatment. So for families that need financial aid because of their income, we have grants from state and local governments, from school programs, and we're able to provide subsidies. We also have private donors whose gifts to us go to make a scholarship fund. And then for those families that have insurance or coverage, we have contracts with all the major insurance providers.
Now your facility at any given time, or all the combination of the 4, how many teenagers will you be serving if it's full?
Yeah, in our Spokane program, we serve about 1,000 teens a year. In this building where we are right now is our inpatient facility, and we have 2 programs here that serve about 600 kids. And then in our outpatient offices in the city and the valley, we serve another 400 to 500 a year.
Now, does Daybreak have any annual fund drive that you'd like to let folks know about ahead of time to participate in?
Sure, we always have. Every year we have what's called the Daybreak Annual Fund, and that's their way of contributing to Daybreak for the general work that we do and for our programs and for those treatment scholarships. And again, our commitment is that we will never turn a child away for lack of funding.
What are the age groups that you primarily have here?
Yeah, we can take young people as young as 12 or 13 and up to 18 years old. The average age is about 16.
And how would a teenager find himself here? I mean, what are the circumstances usually the most common?
It's very, there are many pathways. Most commonly, though, the young people don't knock on the door or call us on the phone and say, please let me into Daybreak.
No, I don't doubt they do.
It's primarily initiated by their parents or by people in the community like school officials or probation officers who are really concerned about the young person who is literally putting their life at risk because of their drug use. So the adults initiate the contact on behalf of the young person, and then they, in our inpatient program, sometimes they come in quickly, like in an emergency. Sometimes they come in through a kind of an application process. But we try to respond as quickly as possible and always involve the parents and the teenager together in that process.
Now, I believe we'll be meeting some of the teenagers here, as well as some of the counselors. We'll be taking a tour to see at least this facility. And I know that you serve, you mentioned you're in Vancouver as well. You have a facility there?
Yeah, in this program here in Spokane, we'll serve young people from as far away as northern Idaho or Montana and all the way to the coast of Washington. But primarily our focus is on the Inland Empire, Inland Northwest. In Vancouver, Washington, we also then serve young people from Southwest Washington down into Oregon and up the I-5 corridor. There aren't not that many of these kinds of treatment facilities for inpatient care, so we're very much a statewide or a regional provider.
Now, what do you think, Tim, would be the best way to help get the word out that Daybreak is here, and it's for teenagers having addiction, and especially alcohol and drug issues? Right.
Well, there are many people who deal with teenagers every day, school, caseworkers and so forth, and especially parents. And if you're the parent or the person who's concerned about a teenager, a lot of times it takes a while to figure out, is this the kind of problem that we have? So we just encourage people to call us It doesn't cost anything to make a phone call and ask some questions, and our counselors are very happy to kind of walk through that. For the general public, I think it's very much, we're part of the safety net. And while many people don't use our services, it's not too hard to find somebody who knows someone who needs our care. So an employer or a minister, somebody, a friend and neighbor, people will usually go to people they trust when they're in crisis. So oftentimes you can say, look, I heard about Daybreak on TV or through the United Way, and I think you ought to call them because I think they have the kind of programs that can help you.
Well, that's what Q Up is all about. We'd like to cue people up to the fact that Daybreak exists, the fact that not only are funds always needed, as with any nonprofit, but also you would have room for some volunteers, wouldn't you, to help?
Sure. We have lots of people serving on our boards. We have people doing internships. We have people coming in to do special projects with our clients. So we will take all the help we can get.
Call you, right?
Call
at
us, yes.
Daybreak.
Right, and we'll try to work up something for everybody.
And we'll be speaking with your development director next to find out a little bit more in depth about the teenagers and what service that Daybreak has here in Spokane.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. At Daybreak in Spokane, I'm speaking with Kathy Kramer, Development Director for Daybreak, and she's going to explain about the situation that our youth are facing as far as drugs and alcohol issues. So Kathy, I'm so delighted to have this opportunity to speak with you. Thank you for joining us on Q Up.
Thank you so much for having us, Brenda. It's been a delight to work with you.
Now, as the Development Director, you're really looking at what the youth are facing and sort of the statistics and the huge problem that now so many of them find themselves in.
Yes, Brenda, you know, when you and I were growing up, it was alcohol and marijuana were pretty much the issues. Now the drugs are much, much more dangerous, and they are available literally in any high school bathroom every day. Drugs and marijuana and those kinds of things are sold and purchased in high school bathrooms. And we've done studies and found that on any given day in America, 1.2 million teens will smoke 5 cigarettes or more. Over 600,000 will smoke marijuana, and over 500,000 will use alcohol. And even in the state of Washington, we find out of 450,000 teens, that 45,000 teens need serious inpatient treatment. And with all of our facilities combined, not only Daybreak, but any other inpatient treatment facilities, only 6,000 to 7,000 of those are treated. So that means there's a large, thousands and thousands of kids that need treatment that do not get treatment. In Spokane County here, we have 5,700 teens that need serious inpatient treatment for substance abuse, and we are only able to treat with all our agencies here in an inpatient treatment setting 600. So you see there's a very
huge gap, isn't there?
Yes, there is. And so some of the impact that has on society is great. Many, many years ago, there was 1,000 beds in the state of Washington, treatment beds. You'll be shocked to hear this number, but only 125 beds in the entire state of Washington. And those are there to treat not only Spokane, but all of the Seattle metro area.
So here at Daybreak in Spokane, I think you mentioned you have about 40 beds available?
Correct.
Why the decline in beds? You'd think years ago, when you said they had more beds, the problem of the drugs was less, and now the problem with drugs is more, right?
Right. I would say just a lack of funding, of government funding, a lack of awareness, and a lot of us are not aware of the impact that all of this has on society. Not only in our communities are we, faced with hurting and broken families, but also the children that use drugs and alcohol are more likely, 2 times more likely to use healthcare and ER facilities, which affects our tax dollars. There's more vandalism and theft, and I think it's 4 times more likely to become pregnant or get someone pregnant